على آله وصحبه أجمعين أما بعد. So welcome to another of our kids classes. And generally speaking, people were asking me about the age for the class. So you can attend the class at any age, but my goal is I'm looking at younger than the teenage years. So for the boys who are older than the teenage years, I don't mind you coming, you're welcome, ahlan wa sahlan, anytime. But the target, the goal of the class is going to be towards people who are, let's say, under 13 years old. And that doesn't have to be strict. So you can come to the class if you're 14, 15, 16, 25. If you want, you can sit in the back and listen. But the goal is, the aim of the class is to people who are younger than the teenage years. And that's because I am going to start a class for teenagers, inshallah ta'ala, where we're going to have a bit more of a mature and grown-up discussion, inshallah. So I look forward to seeing you boys there as well, inshallah. Barakallahu feekum. Okay, so for the girls, you're welcome to come in. The girls who are less than the teens. So girls 10 years old, 11 years old, 12 years old, you can come in, inshallah. But the older girls, you older girls, if you girls can come here at the back, just where I can see you, just over here. Because I just want it to be easy to take your answers and questions. Just be careful of that camera there, that you don't hurt your head on it. Okay, excellent. So let's start again. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen wa salatu wa salam ala abdillahi wa rasulihi nabiyyina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'een amma ba'd. Today we have a new question that we're going to be asking ourselves. Come in, girls, come in. We're going to have a new question that we're going to be talking about and discussing in our classes. So the way this class works is we start with a question, and from that question, we start to explore and look at what that question means. So I have a question for you. In a hadith, an authentic hadith, the Prophet ﷺ said, At-tuhur shatrul iman. He said, cleanliness is half of Iman. I want you to tell me and explain this to me, because this is an interesting, very interesting hadith. A lot to discuss around it. At-tuhur shatrul iman. What does it mean that cleanliness is half of your Iman? Any thoughts? Wow, so many hands. I don't know who to choose first. No one's got their hand up. Abdurrahman, do you have comments on the... You don't have comments because it's kid-friendly, huh? Or is it not set to kid-friendly mode? Should be. It should be set on YouTube to kid-friendly mode, so it won't have comments. But if it did, you could take the comments from people. At-tuhur shatrul iman. Cleanliness is half of Iman. What does it mean? Ya jama'ah. The scholars of the future sitting in front of us here. And we've got nothing at all. Come on. Let's wake up. Shaykhana, what are you saying? Cleanliness is half of Iman. What do you think? Isa. Give me something. I'm coming to you. Don't put your hand down. I'm coming to you. Okay, I'll let you think.
Isn't that Iman like your heart?
Okay, is Iman your heart? That's a really good question. So that's isn't Iman your heart? Iman is not just your heart, right? Iman is 5 things. So can we remember? Iman is 5 things. Iman is what you believe in your heart and what you do with your heart, and the belief that you say on your tongue and what you do with your tongue, and the obedience to Allah that you do with your limbs. All of that is Iman. So let's go again. What you believe in your heart. Do you believe that there's only one God? Allah. Yeah. So that's a belief in your heart. That's a part of Iman. Do you believe that Allah created angels?
Yeah.
That's a part of your Iman. Okay. Also, what do you do with your heart? Like loving Allah, fearing Allah, intention. Yeah, that's what you do with your heart. Okay, when you say the belief on your tongue, when you say La ilaha illallah, and what do you do with your tongue? Like reciting the Quran, making dhikr and dua, and what you do with your limbs, like your prayers and giving zakah, going to Hajj, all of that is Iman. Does that make sense? So why is cleanliness half of it? At-tuhur shatrul Iman. I want someone different. Yalla, hey. I'm talking about cleanliness. Do you know what cleanliness is? Being clean. Cleanliness, being clean. No, it's not a bad answer. Loving your parents is a part of Iman, no doubt. But I'm talking about being clean. Being clean is half of Iman. Explain it to me.
Because if you're dirty, you'll smell.
Very good. Okay. So the way you took it is, you took it as cleanliness means what? Being clean, as in not being smelly. What do we call that in Islam? We call it izalatun najasa. That means removing the things from your body and your clothes and your prayer place which are not Islamically clean. Does that make sense? We're not talking about like having mud on your shoes or something like that. We're talking about something which is not Islamically clean, right? Something which is not Islamically clean. I just give you a simple example. You know, someone goes to the toilet and they don't, you know, they're not very careful and they spill on their clothes. Not nice, huh? But you have to remove that from your clothes, right? You have to take it away. You can't leave it on your clothes. You have to take it away. We call this izalatun najasa, taking away unclean things. Another example, blood. Let's say, for example, that you were in a knife fight just with your friends, you and your friends with two knives, just, you know, cutting each other up as you do, boys at the back, especially you three at the back. And then, you know what it is, you got a massive cut and you just bled all over your clothes. You have to clean it, right? Izalatun najasa, okay? You have to be clean. So all you talked about there, not being smelly and not being dirty, we call it removing unclean things. Where do you remove it from? Your clothes and your body and the place where you pray. So for example, what would happen if your body is clean and your clothes are clean? But let's say, for example, a dog comes by, akramakumullah, and does its business in the place where you're going to pray. Can you pray there? You can't. Hatta even if you remove it from that place, you have to clean it. You have to cleanse it. You have to make it clean again, right? You can't pray in that place. So now we've understood one thing, but there's lots I want to talk about today. That's a tiny part of what I want to talk about today. I'm going to talk in detail about it. So the topic is, can you remember this topic? Removing unclean things. I'm going to ask you later. If you don't remember, I'm going to be mad. Okay? Removing unclean things. That's not the whole answer to the topic. How is cleanliness, being clean, half of your Iman? No. Listen to the question carefully. What did I say? Being clean, you know what being clean, not dirty. Being clean is half of Iman. What does it mean? Noah.
It means that you be respectful to Allah when you pray.
Good, okay. So you took it in a different way. You didn't take cleanliness as being clean hands and clean face. You took it as being like a clean heart, like that. Because we said being clean. I don't know, I'm not saying this in English, or is someone not understanding me? Being clean, not dirty. Okay, it's half of Iman. So Noah said it a nice way. So you're talking about being clean as in good manners and clean heart. Okay, good. That's another way of thinking about it. Zach. Very good. So how do you be clean before you pray? Wudu. Okay, Zach, remember that. What's yours? Removing unclean things from your body and your clothes and your prayer place. Zach, remember yours. Wudu. Okay, wudu. So far, your answer and your answer come together in one thing. That is your answer and your answer. They're together in one thing. That you're talking about being physically clean. Like as in, you are clean clothes, clean face, clean body. Wudu. Noah's answer was a bit different. Noah didn't talk about being physically clean, right? You didn't talk about having clean hands and clean face. You talked about having good manners and good respect towards Allah, yeah? That's important, but we're going to talk about that later. Yalla mashayikh.
Being clean, like a mental clean.
Yeah, I like that. Actually, we're coming to that. Yours and Noah's answer came together a bit, like in terms of clean in the way you are inside, not in the way that you are outside. Taking care of yourself. Okay, that's good. That's also good. That answer is kind of 50-50 because taking care of yourself could be like, cleanliness in your body and everything, but also how you are on the inside. Girls, I have not heard anything from you. Cleanliness is half of Iman. Being clean is half of Iman. What does it mean? How can it, okay, the boys have said wudu and all that, and they've said about being clean in your mind and your heart and everything. But now I want to tell me, how can that be half of Iman? Look, Iman is a lot of things, right? Praying is Iman, Hajj is Iman, fasting is Iman. What else is Iman? Yani zakat is Iman. How is cleaning your hands half of it? How can cleaning your hands be half of all of that? In Hajj, you don't need to clean anything. In zakat, you don't need to clean anything. What, you're going to clean your money? Clean your £1 coins and your 50 pence pieces, make them nice and clean? How does it mean half of your Iman? Girls, tell me, explain to me, how is it half of your Iman? Half of your Islam, half of everything is about being clean. What does it mean? See, I gave you a tough one today. All the mashayikh, the shuyukh, all the scholars are quiet today. All our rising tullab al-ilm, everybody's not got an answer today. Got a few people, but I want from the girls, like I'm going to come back to you, but I want from the girls. Plus you have to remember your answer, I need to come back to it. Come on girls, give us something, inspire us with something. Go on. Good, that is actually really, really good. I want you to keep that in your mind. And now I want you to apply that to both of the boys' answers. So one of the boys said about being physically clean, and you said you've got to be clean before you start. So what does that mean, being clean before you start? As in being clean before you pray and before you do your ibadat, like your hajj and all of that, you have to be clean. What about if we're talking about your heart? Say again what you said. You have to be? Allahu Akbar. You have to be clean before you start. Clean what? Heart. If you don't have a clean heart, nothing will be accepted from you. Does that make sense? If you're not doing it for Allah, if your heart is sharing your prayers, half of it for Allah and half of it for someone else, it's not clean. So we're going to come back and we're going to say that there are two types of being clean. The two types of being clean is being physically clean and being clean inside. So let's say it a different way. Being clean on the outside and being clean on the inside. So what does it mean to be clean on the inside? This is where we want to talk about now. Start with this. What does it mean to be clean on the inside? I don't mean that you cut out your heart and you wash it with fairy liquid. No, that's not what I'm talking about. How do you be clean on the inside? Okay, the black dots that get put on your heart from sin. Before that, hold that thought. Before that, you're holding a thought. You're not allowed to answer while you're holding your other thought. Huh? Girls. Hey, can I say go on? Okay, go on. Pure intentions. Allahu Akbar. Very good. So we're going to start with intentions. Intention is half of your Iman. Having a clean intention is half of your Iman. If having a clean intention is half of your Iman, what's the other half? Oh, I'm full of puzzles today. If cleaning your intention, if having a clean intention in your heart is half of Iman, what's the other half? Zach. You're there, but I need one more extra word on the end. Praying and worshipping Allah. ... Who can fill in a couple extra words on the end? Zach got the perfect answer. Shabab, listen. We said, being clean on the inside, what does it mean? It means having a clean intention in your heart. That is half of your Iman. What's the other half? Zach gave the perfect answer. He said your prayer and your worship. But he missed a part at the end of it. Your prayer and your worship. No, oh, that's right. But there's like Zach, prayer and worship and being kind and good to your parents and all that. But what? How? In what way? Following the Quran and following the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Allahu Akbar. So in this way of explaining it, we're going to say that half of your Iman is having a clean intention, and the other half of your Iman is doing the action the way that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam did it. Let's step back. What does it mean to have a clean intention? What does it mean to have a clean intention? In what way? You're right, your intention is good. In what, how do I know my intention is good? How do I know about that? Yes. So your intention is? Not haram. Okay, you're not intending to do haram. That's part of it, but something bigger than that. Focusing, that's a part of intention also. Focusing is very good. It's a part of your intention. But I want something bigger. The biggest thing in intention is what? No, bigger than manners, bigger than that. Who are you doing it for? Is it for Allah or not? That's the answer. Is it for Allah or is it not for Allah? How could it be someone does something which is not for Allah? Like, give me an example of a Muslim who fell into this mistake. They didn't have a clean intention. A Muslim, I don't want someone worshipping an idol or worshipping the cows or worshipping the stars or something like that. I want a Muslim who fell into the mistake of not having a clean intention. How could it be? Go on, you're allowed to have an answer. As long as you don't forget your first thing.
Okay. So if you're smoking, your body inside is not clean.
That's true, but that's still about a physical being clean, like physically, right? Not talking about inside the heart, right? So I want the answer to this question. How could a Muslim who prays, fasts, how could they make a mistake and not keep their intention clean? Give me an example of it. Yes, Noor.
Praying for someone else other than Allah.
Very good. How could that happen to a Muslim? How could a Muslim pray to someone else other than Allah? He's a Muslim, like you and me. I'm not talking about someone who is like a bad person, or I'm talking about a regular person in the masjid. How could they end up praying to someone else? Yes. Go ahead. How could it happen to a Muslim? How? Yes. No, not like bad people. I'm talking about like a good Muslim, but they made a mistake. What mistake? How did they make this mistake? How could a Muslim not have a clean intention? Abdurrahman.
Sometimes don't look below the gaze.
That's true, but I'm talking about intention for Allah. I'm talking about how could it be? I'm a Muslim. Who do I want to pray to? Allah. How could it be that I accidentally did something where I didn't pray to Allah? How could that happen? And I'm a Muslim, and I don't want to do that. Yes, Isa. Did you forget? No, not shaitan. You're right that shaitan comes and confuses you, but what does shaitan confuse you in? Something that happens when you're praying. Okay, very good. We're there. No. You're thinking too complicated about reciting Quran wrong, and you're thinking too complicated. You're there. Something happens in your prayer. I'm praying to Allah. Allahu Akbar, just for Allah. What happens? What does shaitan confuse me with? Go on, Zach. Okay, you think about something different. What do you think about that's making a partner with Allah? Yalla hat. Go on. Yeah. No, not forgetting what rak'ah you're on. You're not sharing. You're going to share it with someone other than Allah. Huh? No, not the Prophet.
Shaitan will whisper to you.
What will he whisper to you, ya Jama'ah? Okay, we didn't get the answer. I'm going to give forget it. I'm giving you, put your hands down. The answer is showing off in your prayer. الذين هم عن صلاتهم ساهون الذين هم يراءون ويمنعون الماعون. Showing off. No, stop it. Showing off in your prayer. That means that you start your prayer for Allah and you see your friend looking at you. So what do? You make your back a bit more straight. You put your hands a bit more nice. You bring your nicest recitation out. You make your prayer really long so they think good of you. Now what did you do? You gave that intention that was only for Allah. You shared it with someone else. You gave it to someone else. So is that prayer going to be accepted? No. It's not going to be accepted unless you change that intention. Get rid of it. Push it away. And say, no, this prayer is only for Allah. I'm only praying for Allah. Does that make sense? The example I gave, does that make sense to everybody? Yeah? Girls, make sense to you? The example we gave, yeah? About showing off how it makes your intention dirty. It makes your intention unclean. It doesn't make you have a pure intention. How do you know, or what are some of the ways you can know that your intention is clean? How can I know? Is it easy or hard? First of all, who thinks it's easy to have a clean intention? Nobody put their hand up. I like that. Very few. Who thinks it's hard? Yeah, you're right. It's very hard. It's not easy to have a clean intention. Why is it not easy to have a clean intention? Isa, what was your last answer you gave me? What was the last answer you gave me? Shaitan, you said to me, yeah? What does shaitan do to you that makes it hard to keep a good intention? He puts stuff in your mind and he makes your intention turn around and change. Does that make sense? So your intention that's supposed to be clean, he tells you, do this. So you go a different way. Maybe, for example, let's say you're giving this class. So here I come to give the class. Who am I giving the class for? For Allah. Only for Allah. I don't want anyone else to have a share. I just want reward from Allah. So I sit down. I see so many students. I see the camera. A lot of people watching at home. And I start thinking, oh, people might like my class. I should make it a bit different. And I start to change do you see how your intention can just change? Then suddenly you might want to be famous. You might want people to know your name. Yeah, so your intention can change very quickly. That's why it's hard to keep it. Even if you start with a good intention, it's so easy for your intention to change and flip on you. So what are some of the ways that you can know that your intention is good? You can't know for sure, but what are some of the ways that can help you with keeping your intention pure, keeping your heart clean? Go on. So remembering Allah when the shaitan whispers, very good. That's excellent, that's one thing. So when shaitan whispers, إِنَّ الَّذِينَ اتَّقَوْا إِذَا مَسَّهُمْ طَائِفٌ مِّنَ الشَّيْطَانِ تَذَكَّرُوا فَإِذَا هُمْ مُبْصِرُونَ. The people who have taqwa, when shaitan touches them and whispers to them, they remember Allah and then they can see clearly. So remembering Allah, that's a very good point. What else can you do, ya Jama'ah? What else can you do?
So showing off. Really quick.
So how can you help yourself not to show off?
Just give your attention to Allah.
Like focus your intention for Allah. That's good.
Said no, I don't want to.
No, there's something even easier than that. Even easier than ignoring people. The easiest way to stop showing off in the whole world.
Shaking your head.
No. No, easier. Sorry? That's true, but there's an easier way. Focus on your prayer. No, there's something you don't do which is even easier. It's the easiest thing in the whole world. Not easier. Don't pray in front of people if you can in the first place. Obviously, when you come to Masjid, you have to pray in front of everybody. You can't choose that. But if you're praying your prayers at home, like you're praying your extra prayers, don't pray them in front of other people. So one of the best ways that you can keep your intention clean, Shabab, one of the best ways that you can keep your intention clean is to try to hide your good deeds so nobody knows about them except Allah. Does that make sense? Yeah, hiding the good you do. Can you hide everything? No. You couldn't be a Muslim if you hid everything, right? You don't say any good words. You don't pray. No, it's not right. But you hide as much as you can. You try to be a better person in private than you are in public. So are you a better person with your friends or are you a better person by yourself? You should try to be the best person when you're by yourself. Your best Muslim you can be when you're by yourself. What else can you do to know that your intention, or to help you to know that your intention is clean? Remember Allah. Focus. Don't let shaitan get in the way. Try to hide the good deeds you do. What else can you do?
Say the dua to avoid shaitan and before.
Okay, say the dua to avoid showing off and make your intention clean. For example, there's a very nice dua. Allahumma inni a'udhu bika an ushrika bika wa ana a'lam wa astaghfiruka lima la a'lam. Oh Allah, I ask your protection from making a partner with you while I know, and I ask your forgiveness if I did something that I didn't know about. So that makes your intention clean. What else can you do? Look at your deeds. If you see that Allah is helping you to do more and more, this is a good sign that it could have been accepted by Allah. For example, if you've just done a prayer, let's say you've done Dhuhr prayer now. If Allah makes it easy for you to pray Sunnah prayers, Alhamdulillah, that's a good sign. Does that make sense? If Allah makes it easy for you after that to pray the Asr prayer, that's a good sign. If you finish your Asr prayer and you say Astaghfirullah, 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 Allahumma anta salam wa minka salam, tabarakta ya dal jalali wal ikram, and you start doing your adhkar, that's a good sign. Because Allah is giving you one more good deed after one more good deed. Is everyone understanding me or not? Yeah? You get the success from Allah to keep on doing more and more good deeds. Okay, that's all about purity in your heart, clean intention. The second half of that is doing things the right way. And what is the right way? The right way is the way that the Prophet ﷺ did it. Very good. Let's pause on that topic. Now let's come back to being physically clean. How is that half of your Iman? How could that be half of your Iman? Excellent, very good. If the word Iman in the hadith means Salah, half of your Salah is being clean and your wudu. Very good. So if it means Salah, half of your Salah is being clean. Amazing. So we're now going to talk about the two things that are very important when we are cleaning ourselves. And they are removing dirty things and cleaning ourselves with wudu or ghusl or whatever else is needed to clean ourselves. So there's two parts, right? Here what? Come here. That's like 5th time I told you, man. Yeah, you can sit there. It's like, sit, good. Okay. So there's two parts to it. One part is getting rid of what is dirty. That was the one you mentioned. Removing unclean things. And that has to come first, right? Before you make wudu, you have to get rid of the things that are unclean. You have to get rid of the things that are unclean. So first of all, Islamically, you have to know what is unclean. Islamically, what is something which is not clean? So let's first of all talk about the body and talk about what is unclean Islamically. Everything that comes out of the front passage or the back passage. Meaning everything that comes out from the private parts at the front or the back is unclean Islamically. Does that make sense? Yeah? So you have to remove it from your clothing, and you can't have it on your prayer place, and you can't have it on your body. What does that tell us about an important etiquette when it comes to going to the bathroom? What's a very important etiquette about going to the bathroom related to this issue? Go on. That's a very important etiquette, but not on this issue. You say, Allahumma inni a'udhu bika min al-khubuthi wal khaba'ith. But on this issue, what's really important? Washing yourself properly and using the bathroom properly. And this is very, very important. Why is it important? Because if you don't do it, then you didn't remove that unclean thing from your body. And what's going to happen? You will not be able to pray and do the other acts of worship that need cleanliness, like reading the Quran or reading from the Mus'haf and stuff like that. So it's very, very important. Did Islam teach us how to use the toilet?
Yeah.
It did. Do you know that something happened with one of the Sahaba, radiyallahu anhu, that someone from the non-Muslims was making fun of him? He said, you know your Prophet? He taught you everything. He even taught you how to use the toilet. He's making fun of that. You know, do you need someone to come and tell you how to use the toilet? He said, yes, he did. He was proud. He said, yes, he told us how to use the toilet. He told us all the things we need to do to use the toilet properly. So he told us not to face the Qibla. Do you know that? You can't face the Qibla when you go to the toilet. So if the Qibla is this way, our toilet can't face this way, and it can't face away from the Qibla, which is that way. It can face anywhere here, it can face anywhere here, but it can't face the Qibla and it can't face behind the Qibla. A bit is okay, but you can't have the toilet facing the Qibla. Okay, if it is facing the Qibla, for example, you enter someone's house, it's not their fault, it's just how the house is built. You have to turn yourself so you're not facing the Qibla when you use the toilet, and you're not facing away from it. So you have to turn yourself. That's the first thing. From the things the Prophet ﷺ told us about keeping ourselves clean when using the toilet is you use the toilet sitting down. You don't use it standing up. Because when the people do that, it makes their clothes unclean, it makes the place unclean, it makes the toilet unclean. And Islamically we said, half of your Iman, half of your Salah, you have to be clean. Another thing which people do, which is not right when they go to the bathroom, is they don't, for example, clean themselves using their left hand. In the bathroom, you have to clean yourself using your left hand. And what do you have to clean yourself with? You have two choices. Only two choices. What are your two choices about cleanliness in the bathroom? Go on. Water is one of them. If there's no water or you don't want to use the water, what option do you have? How much tissue? There's a rule Islamically, a minimum of 3 pieces of tissue. You cannot only use one, you have to use a minimum, at least 3 separate pieces of tissue.
Minimum.
Like at least you have to use 3. If you use 2, it's not accepted. Maximum is whatever is needed to remove the uncleanliness. So you have to use at least 3 pieces of tissue. In the time of the Prophet ﷺ, they didn't use tissue. What did they use? Does anyone know? Instead of water, when they didn't have water, what did they use? No, they didn't. It's a good try. No, not leaves, but you're closer. They didn't know they didn't have paper. Well, not paper like that. No, they didn't use that, no. No. They didn't use cloth. No. Ah, very good, rocks. They use stones and rocks. And the stones and rocks has to be how many? 3 or more. 3 or more. If you don't use 3 or more, you have to use water. They just took a flat rock and used it like toilet tissue. The same thing. Yeah, they took a flat rock. No, then after that it would be thrown in the place where because they used to go to the toilet outside, right, in the desert. So there would be like a hole, and they would use the bathroom, and then they would put the stones that they used, and they would cover it up.
Like in the hot weather?
No, anytime, because it's going to make a mess, right? So Islamically being clean is very important. So if you use water, that's fine. If you use stones or toilet tissue, you have to use at least 3. But now I've got a question. How do you know you've used enough water or enough tissue or enough stones that you know you don't need to use anymore?
When it's clean.
When it's clean. This is very important. You keep using water again and again until it's clean, because you have to be clean. And everything that comes out from the front or the back is not clean in Islam. Doesn't matter what it is, it's not clean. So you have to clean it. Normally you clean it with water, but you can use tissue. But if you use tissue, you have to use 3 pieces of tissue, at least. And it has to be clean, nothing else coming out. The next thing that people make a mistake about cleanliness is, in this issue, is that they rush. And what happens when you rush? Rushing is from the shaitan. So you're going to rush, and what's going to happen is you're not going to be clean, and you're going to end up with making yourself dirty, and making your clothes dirty, and making your prayer place dirty. So you have to make sure that you take your time properly and you're properly clean. What would happen? I'm going to be honest, because this is an important class. What would happen if you went to the bathroom and you saw that something on your clothes is not clean? What if you can't change? Yeah, so you have to clean it, right? How do you know what you have to clean from your clothes? So this is my next topic. How do you know how to clean your clothes? Like, what do you do with your clothes to clean them from anything? Islam has rules. Everything has rules. Let's see. Yeah, how do you know your clothes are clean, Yusuf? Washing them until when? Until you can't. So there's three things. You don't want anything that smells bad. You don't want to be able to see anything. Yeah. So if it doesn't smell bad and you can't see anything, you're fine. What about if it doesn't clean? Isn't it true some things like blood, for example, it might not clean it. Like you try to clean it doesn't clean. If you try to clean it really well and you use the soap and everything and still it doesn't clean, it doesn't matter. It's okay. Yeah, does that make sense? Okay. Your clothes have to be clean. If your clothes are not clean, you have to clean them or you have to change them. Does that make sense? Clean them or change them. They have to be clean. Okay, we talked about the body, what's not clean. We said everything that comes out from the front and the back is not clean. What about also a lot of blood is not clean? And if you have a lot of blood, like for example, a big nosebleed all over your clothes, it's also not clean. It has to be, you have to change it and take it off. If you have no choice, you can pray, because sometimes you have no choice. I mean, if you have like a big wound on your head, it's dripping, you can't do anything about it, right? You just have to pray like that. But if you can clean it, you should clean it. Okay, what about the animals that are not clean? So animals that you would have to clean yourself if you had that animal. Let's see. Yes. Which animal? Go on. In the pink hijab, this girl next to you. Do you know the answer? Which animal? No. Near close though, but not that close. Two animals that you have to clean. We've got some different answers here. Let's see, someone has the answer before. Go on. A dog. That's the first animal that is unclean. There's another animal that is unclean. A pig.
Cat is also.
No, cat is clean. Cat is clean.
Is that like a hippo, clean or no?
It depends on the animals that you eat their meat or not. But generally speaking, it's not something you have to worry about. Plus, if a hippo runs at you, to be honest, you should move out the way. If it touches you, you're probably in deeper trouble than your wudu. So I wouldn't worry about it. 1 second. So we're worrying about the pigs and the dogs. Pigs, we probably don't need to worry about too much because we don't really have much contact with pigs. But dogs are all over the place. So the dog, if it licks you, if the dog licks you, or if it licks your plates or your cups that you drink out of, or if it licks your clothes, how do you clean it? Here's a tough one. It's a very difficult thing you have to do. Go on, Abdurrahman.
Red water.
Okay, good. You have to use soil or mud. So you have to clean it 7 times. The first time you have to use some sort of mud or dirt or soil or sand. Yeah. There's something in that mud and soil that cleans something from that dog. So basically you take a handful of soil or sand and you rub it on and once, and then 7 times in total with water. Like wash it, then again wash it, then again wash it, then again wash it, then again wash it until you reach 7 times. That's a lot. So it's hard. Yeah, 7 times that's what the hadith says. 7 مرات أولاهن بالتراب. Go on.
Do you do the same on your body?
Yeah, the same. To be safe. To be safe. Some people said you only do it if it's your food cups, but it's safer to do it for all the times if it comes on you.
Why don't you do that to the dog's sleep?
The dog is impure like all the way through, like its creation is like that. You can't make it pure. And even if you soap it and like spray it down. No, because it's actually the DNA of like the what's inside of the dog, its spit, its saliva. You know what I mean? You can't change that about it. That's how Allah made it.
So why does the people let the dog?
Yeah, Allahu Akbar. Why do people let the dogs lick them? Islamically, it's not allowed. Islamically, is it allowed to keep a dog?
No.
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah. Put your hand up if you think no. Put your hand up if you think yes. Both of you are right. So who's going to explain to me how both of you are right? Go on, Saha.
You can't have it as a pet inside your house.
You can't have it as a pet at all. You can't have it inside your house at all. So it has to be, let's see, so many answers. Yes, go on. The black hijab and the, yeah. Exactly. So it has to have a valid reason for it. Like a farm dog, like a sheep dog or a farm dog, a guard dog, or a guide dog. You know the people who are blind who need a dog too? The dog helps them how to move from place to place. So you have to have a reason for it, right? That dog that you have for that reason, if there's no other way to do it except with that dog, also hunting. See, can we switch the phone off? Whose phone it is? Just come on, one of the brothers, just go and switch it, inshallah. Just find out whose phone it is and switch it off, no problem. Okay. So, what do you have to do? Guys, look at me. Shabab, look at me. Look at me. So, you can keep a hunting dog. Yeah, hunting dog.
In your house? Outside?
No, outside. Outside your house, in a kennel, in the garden. But these dogs, you have to have a reason for it. And you must be careful that you keep yourself clean from that dog. But you can't have a dog as a pet in Islam. Yes, Zach. Cats, you're allowed as a pet, but you're not allowed to buy them. The Prophet ﷺ forbade buying them, according to some views. Some didn't hold that view, but some of the scholars said you're not allowed to buy them.
Are you allowed to eat like a tiger's meat?
No, you're not allowed to eat tiger meat. But tiger's allowed to eat your meat. That's true.
So you know how you said hunting dogs are allowed? If the dog touches the meat that you're
No, the situation is different. If the hunting dog situation is different, yeah. The animal though, it doesn't touch it like that. What it does is it goes and it like it drags it by the neck or something like that. But it doesn't go in and eat the meat from the inside. So like the way those hunting dogs work, they grab the animal and they drag it or whatever, but they don't, or they tell you where the animal is, but they don't like lick the meat or eat the meat from the inside. Yes?
If the dog licks your cup, but you don't know, and you drink it, what happens?
No, if you didn't know that the dog licked it, you don't have a blame. It's not your blame. You're not to blame for it, inshallah. Yes? You can buy a cat according to one view. See, the Prophet ﷺ in some hadith, he prohibited thamanu sinnawr, the price of a cat. And some of the scholars said the hadith is not correct, and some of them said it is. So there's a difference of opinion about it. But if it's the case that maybe it's an issue that the cats are not something you should buy. You can be given one, but it's not something you should spend a lot of money on. But some of them said it's not a problem. Some of them said that the correct answer is there's no problem to buy it. What was the second part of the question? No, it's fine if you bought one. It doesn't matter. Even the buying of one, it's not like not everybody has that opinion, but there's an opinion like that. Yes. Do you still have to wear hijab? If you don't have hair, yeah, you do. Because it's the issue of the hair is not the issue. Hijab is about covering the head. It's about covering the head. Okay, we need to switch this phone off. Or just throw it down the stairs. You have my permission. No problem, I don't mind who it belongs to. Doesn't matter who it belongs to. You have my permission to throw it down the stairs. They can come and see me about it after that. No. No, don't put in charity box. Okay. Okay. Now we've talked about the dog and the pig. Okay? There's other things that we need to talk about. What about the animals? What about the animals that you don't eat their meat and the animals that you do eat their meat? What's the difference? The difference is the animal dung. You know the dung of the animal, like what the animal passes out when the animal goes to the toilet. Listen, when the animal goes to the toilet, if the animal is an animal that you eat, Like you eat what animals? Cows, sheep, lamb, chicken. Yeah. If the animal is the animal that you eat, then the dung from the animal, when the animal goes to the toilet, it doesn't matter. You just have to wash it off. It doesn't make a problem. But the one that makes the problem is the animal that you don't eat. So back to the topic of the hippo, which we don't eat. But if the hippo goes to the toilet and you fall into it, you have to clean yourself. Because it's not clean, Islamically. Hippo dung is not clean.
So if you fall into the toilet, you have to clean yourself.
If we're talking about an animal that you don't, give me an animal you don't eat that you could come across a lot. I'm not sure about giraffe. Why can't you eat giraffe?
Huh?
Why can you not eat giraffe?
It's me. I don't know. It's like long.
It's a bit too long. It's a bit too long. Okay. Okay, let's just say you all agree that we don't eat. Shabab, listen. You all agree we don't eat lion. Do you agree we don't eat lions, right? If you're walking in the plains, in the savannah, and you stepped your foot in the lion's dung, the lion went to the toilet in front of you and you put your foot into it. Do you have to clean your shoe or not?
No.
Yes. Why? You have to clean your shoe because you don't eat lions. Okay, if you go out walking in the farm, Shabab, and you step in, means young boys. Otherwise, I have other words to use, but I can't use them in the masjid. Okay, so now if you stepped into the cow's mess, the cow pat, the cow dung, and you stepped into it with your foot, do you have to wash it? No, you don't. It's better to wash it because it smells and it's not nice. But you don't, Islamically, it doesn't matter because you eat cows. So it doesn't make a difference if it's not perfectly clean. You wash it because it's not nice, but you don't, Islamically, it doesn't matter. Did that make now sense when we talked about animals? Have we finished talking about animals now? Go on.
So like, right, I seen that thing, right, when they make coffee out of elephant food. So that's allowed to drink. And like they make
That is a very good question. I don't think they make it out of, I heard they made it out of monkeys.
No, it's elephant.
No, the monkey eats it, it's not the elephant. Trust me, I know that coffee. No, the coffee, I know that, and the monkey eats it and passes it out. It's not an elephant that eats it. Elephants don't eat coffee beans, man.
No, the elephant does its business.
Okay.
Humans can pick it up, turn it into coffee, and sell it to
No, that's not how it works. Listen, I'll tell you how it works. I know that you, mashallah, have watched a lot of YouTube. Allah bless you. But I'll tell you how it works. The way this works is the animal eats the coffee bean. The bean doesn't get processed. And the animal passes the bean out of the other end. And then they clean it and they make coffee out of it.
No, it's like
Allahu Akbar.
no. They put the thingy with the beans.
No, man, they don't. They take the beans and anyway. Okay, I'll leave you and your elephant beans later. You can have it later. Now finish that question. Yalla. Generally speaking, yes, most animals that prey on other animals, you can't. Yeah. Lions, tigers, they're sabr, right? The animals that kill. No, zebras you can eat. Wallah. But you can't eat domesticated donkeys as well. Anyway, we're off topic. Guys, we went off topic far. Go on.
Are you allowed to eat horses?
You are, but you shouldn't. Like you can eat a horse, but you should use a horse for riding and benefit and not for eating. But in an emergency, you could eat it, yeah. I wouldn't like to eat a horse. Okay. After that, we talked about cleaning yourself. Now we have to talk about wudu and how to make wudu, but we don't have time. Our time is nearly up. Very quickly, I'm going to show you guys, but only when you guys start paying attention, man. I listened to your long discussion about elephants. You have to listen to me as well. Whatever you're talking about, I don't care what you're talking about. Shush, be quiet. You're interfering with the other kids. Okay. How to make wudu properly. Okay, I'm going to show you. I would tell them to bring water, but it doesn't matter. I'll show you the actions of it. When you start your wudu, what do you start your wudu with? First you put your hand up. No, Bismillah. Okay. And your intention. Bismillah. After that, you wash your hands 3 times. Your right hand 3 times and your left hand 3 times. But you should not put your hand, just your hand up to your wrist. You should not put your hand into the sink. Excuse me. You should not put your hand into the sink. What should you do? You should put it under the tap, or you should take the jug and pour it onto your hand. Why is that important? No, I don't have the question. First answer my question. Why is that important? Yeah, it's going to make the sink dirty. You're going to put your own dirty hands into the sink, and then all the water's going to be dirty. So you run your hands under the tap. Bismillah. 1, 2, 3. Happy? Okay. Now, doesn't matter whether you have a bowl, doesn't matter whether you have a tap, doesn't matter what you have a shower, whatever it is. The next thing you're going to do is you're going to fill the water into the cup of your hand like this. The cup of your right hand. Fill the water and you're going to sip some. And you're going to sniff some. Then what you're going to do, you got water in your nose, you got water in your mouth. Okay? Push the water out of your nose. Yeah? And then spill the water around your mouth and spit it out. Again, take a cup of water in your right hand like this. Sip, sniff, blow, and then spit. Again, 3rd time. Sip, sniff, blow, and spit. Okay, now I've done my hands, I've done my nose and mouth. After that, if you're fasting, don't gargle, okay? Don't because the water will go down. If you're not fasting, you can gargle. Okay. Take your both hands and wash your face. All the way from the tip of your hair down to the bottom of your chin, down to the side of where your ears are. Don't just go like that. Yeah? Like people just go like that. They just put a tiny little bit of water here. Proper water. Cover your face all the way around here. Okay. For those that have a beard, you can, if your beard is very thick, you can just wipe over it as part of your face. Like, as in, look at me, my beard's a bit thick. So you just wipe it like that when I'm washing my face. But if they had thin beard, and if you have just little hairs, you have to get in between it. You have to rub it and get in between it and get the water behind. Okay? All right. After that, I've done my face. Now what am I going to do? I'm going to do my arms. Okay? I'm going to do my arms past the elbow. Past the elbow. So I'm going to scoop up the water. I'm going to tip it backwards onto my arms. All the water is going to fall down. And I'm going to go backwards to my hands, in between my fingers. 1. Tip it up. All the water came down my arm. I'm going to go in between my... I'll come to your question in a second. I'm going to go in between my fingers. 3rd time, I'm going to tip it up. All the way down, past my elbow. In between my fingers. That's my right arm. Which arm comes after that? My left arm. Tip it up. All the water falls down. Past my elbow. Into my fingers. Tip it up. Way down. Past my elbow. Into my fingers. Tip it up. Again. Into my fingers. Okay. Very good. Now I did my arms. Now what's left? My hair. Now for the girls, you have to, when you do this for the wudu, you have to remove your hijab when you do it, yeah? For the wudu, okay? So what do? You start at the front of your head, you wet your hands. You don't put water, okay? Nobody should put their head in the sink, okay? Nobody should take the tap and put it underneath, yeah? You make your hands wet, You start at the front, you go to the back of your head, and you come back again. One time only. How many times? One. With the same hands, without putting new water, no new water. Clean the inside of your ears with your finger and the outside of your ears with your thumb. Then what you're going to do is you're going to clean your feet 3 times up to your ankle, past your ankle, including going in between your toes, like that. In between your toes. Okay. If you do that, you have finished your wudu and you can make the dua. What's the dua when you finish your wudu? Allahumma ja'alni min al-tawwabin wa ja'alni min al-mutatahhirin. You had a question, Abdurrahman?
Does the wudu count as devotion? But like you do everything quickly, I mean, does it count?
Like if you did everything quickly, but if the water touched everything, yeah, it counts. Like if the water touched everything, but it has to touch everything. You can't be missing a big spot here. Yeah. Okay. That brings us, I think, to the time which is the end of our class. Girls, did you have any questions about the wudu that I mentioned? I didn't talk about wiping over the socks, but we can talk about that another time. And I didn't talk about ghusl, we can talk about that another time. Did we answer our question? What does it mean that being clean is half of Iman? Yani if it means wudu, it means half of the salah. Otherwise, it means having a clean heart and a clean body. A clean heart and a clean body. Very good. All questions answered? That's what Allah Azza wa Jal made easy for me to mention. Allah knows best. والصلاة والسلام على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين وجزاكم الله خيرا, and we will see you inshallah ta'ala next week.